Hello, everybody. This is Mickey Mao with CartoonMoneyPrinters.com. We're starting a little bit early today, but I think it's okay. Welcome. Let me actually get the streams up. All right, sorry about that. This is Mickey Mao with CartoonMoneyPrinters.com. Today is Monday, March 31st, 2025. And it is pre-April Fool's Day. I'm joined with KerMixAlot. Joined with. I never get that right. Why don't you go ahead and say hey, my dude?
Hey, either way is fine. Hey guys, tonight I'm going to be going over looking at price action when it gets to a daily and weekly CPR that are stacked on top of each other, just to kind of show the power in that. You have anything else, Mickey?
You're awfully quiet. I'm not sure if you're pulling your mic away.
Okay, is that a little bit better?
Much better.
Okay, yeah, I had the mic. It wasn't quite adjusted. All right, so
you were saying about what's the title again?
Well, basically, I'm going to be looking at charts that have a daily and weekly central pivot range that are basically stacked on top of each other. I'll show you guys exactly what we're going to look at. And then we're going to look at what happens to price action when it gets through the central pivot range of both of them to either up or down. And that's what I'm going to be going over. So let me just go to Bitcoin and kind of show you guys what we're looking at. All right, if you see the pink boxes here, let me open that up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so the pink boxes are the daily central pivot range. I'm going to be referring them as CPR to shorten the time. And then the gray box is the weekly. Okay, so what we're going to be looking for is when the pink is stacked inside of the gray, like you see here, and then watch price action as it gets through it or bounces off it. So I'm going to be opening up Telegram because this is where I put all of these trades and charts. So I'm going to go in here. I will zoom in, and Mickey, let me know if you can see it. These are all the examples within the last week. These are all since last Monday.
Can you shift mouse wheel or go back? No. Go back to the whole list.
Okay.
Escape. And then shift mouse wheel and the right side of the screen.
Like,
yeah, right there, and then hold shift and mouse wheel.
I'm doing shift and mouse wheel. It's
okay.
not.
Okay, so yeah, I guess that's just the size. That's fine. Go ahead and do your thing.
It's not grabbing it. All right, so Okay, so here's the first example. It's actually a short. This is Ethereum, and um, this is this seems to work very well, especially when it's in the beginning of the week. And as you can see, this is the beginning of the week here. So this is your Sunday night, Monday daily CPR. Sometimes they'll be green, sometimes they'll be pink. I think I put a couple charts with them green. So basically, I'm watching the price here, right? And it went into it as the day started, and then it turned around, right? So it's a bounce or a rejection. And this candle right here was the um, entry for the short. Okay, it left it to the downside, and with volume, as you can see here, and the par, right, the price action reader, which is a collection of RSIs. The yellow ribbon is the 1 and 2 hour. Actually, in this case, it's 1530, right? And that was trending down as it left. And so with that trade, and let me take a look at the percentage. I put the percentage on most of them. That was a 10% move within a few hours. So here's another one, Theta. Right? Again, it's another short, and this one was beautiful because both were very narrow, right? So the more narrow, the more possibility of it having a strong trending move. And this daily was literally right on top of the weekly, both narrow. Again, price started in it, reversed, closed to the downside, and came down through it. With the par, I'm going to look at the 4 hour, okay? It is trending down. So you take that trade, and let's see what the percentage is on that one. That was a 15% move, and that move took place in about a little bit over a day. All right. All right, this is seller. Boom. Shift wheel. Open that up for you. Okay, here we go. Okay, now we got longs. All right. So the day opened, I'm noticing the CPR stacked on top of the weekly. It's a little bit wider, but for the most part, it's kind of a narrow CPR if you look at all the rest of them. It doesn't have to be. When they're stacked, they can be a little bit wider, but I do prefer the more narrow, the better on both of them. Here, price left to the upside. And, I mean, these things just go. I mean, are you seeing that, Mickey? They just, like, kind of just rocket ship out of there. The 4 hour had a... Well, that's not a bull div. It's just a regular divergence. But when it left the CPRs, both of them, it's got to leave both of them, it was definitely bullish. Now, it was a little bit... the 15 and 30 minute was high. But in this case, I have to kind of bend my rules a little bit on par. Normally, if a price has consolidated and the 1530 gets this high after getting in, I'm going to want to take profit. But with these, you can kind of just let them go till they fizzle out. And then you could even look for a bear div instead of just getting out on the high peak here. So right here would have been a bear div, and that would have had the price up here on this trade, and that was seller. That was about a 7.8% move in, looked like it was about like 10 hours. Here's a good one, ENJ. All right, so this is a great one. And I like the par looked really good on this one as well. So you had a hidden bull div here on the 1530. The 4 hour was nicely, it made a consolidation and turned, and very narrow daily and weekly CPR. And you could just see when they're narrow like that and it busts through, it just goes. So this one had like a 2-day run, but even if you just wanted to day trade it, that was from 91 to 98. That was a good 8%, 9% move, just in the day trade on that one there. And that was ENJ. That was a 7% move. Okay, here's another short. I'm going to just kind of run through them a little bit faster now that you guys kind of see what I'm looking at. This is BNB. All right. Whoop, too much. Oh. All right. Now, you see this setting up here, this bull div, right? So this is a good one where you take it, right? It left through the downside. The 4-hour is coming down, but you definitely want to be wary because the 4-hour, I mean, this is pretty much like rock bottom right here. So if that's going to come down and turn and price is making a new low like that, you definitely want to take profits. So even if you waited for that and you took profits, you're going to be getting out here. That's still a nice profit. But from here to near the bottom on this BNB short, that was a good 9%. And if you waited for the solid confirmation of the bull move, that would have been about a 5 or 6% trade. All right, here's DOT. Back in there. Get back in there. All right, here we go. All right, so fairly narrow daily, sitting at the upper end of the weekly. Again, they're stacked. Price leaves, and you can see time and time again. Of course, the market was strong at that time too, so that is also something to consider. Yeah, so you take that, and then up here, the 4-hour starts to turn. You could have gotten out anywhere in here and been just gravy. So that was DOT, and that was a 6% move. Here's Bell, right? You got the stacked daily and weekly right through the move. Now that was like probably almost a day and a half. Hold on to that while the 4-hour just went up the whole time. So there's no reason to get out. You're just following that blue line or that blue ribbon all the way up. And that was a good, let's see what that one was. That was 15%. All right, Doge, a 9% move within a day. I don't know if you guys can see. Here's a AXS. Now here, the daily was a little bit separated. So when that's the case, I'm going to probably jump out a little bit sooner. Now this is so close that it's basically a stack, but if this was a little bit higher and you get that nice impulse move, I would be taking 75% take profit out of that on that move up, especially with the little bit of a spread there. You're going to expect a little bit more sideways movement. It's not quite as long trending. Let's see here. All right, here's A gold. Get in here a little bit. Okay, so this one you have 2 days, right? So it was kind of built up for a little bit more, but technically price left here. It did not keep going, but it never took you out. Your stop would be a little bit of a cushion below both of the CPRs, right? So if you got in here as it left, you're fine. That was 2-day. Right, so that was a 9% move. Here's another 2-day one with a short, and that produced a 50% move. Actually, no, not. I'm talking about the long hair. Okay, so this one was a 50% gain, but look how narrow the daily CPR is. It's at the bottom end of the edge of the weekly. The weekly is also narrow. So this went from 53 up to 83. It's probably more than a 50% move. So the narrowness is definitely taking effect and pushing these things much more intensely. All right, let's go down a little bit more. Oh, here's a crazy one. Here was X. I think I traded this in the group. Zoom in a little bit. Okay. Fairly narrow CPR. This is super wide right here, stacked on a super narrow weekly. Super. And that produced I didn't even get the whole chart in there. That went up within a day trade, about 60% move. And now, if you're looking at the par, right, this was in a better position for this to run a lot higher. You notice how some of the other ones, the par was going up, but it was already kind of high, right? That last push into overbought will usually give you like that. If you're thinking about, think Elliott wave, right, Mickey? When it's on the third wave?
Yeah.
Or, okay, on Elliott wave, you have your first wave. It's kind of, and this is the same with like you're going surfing at the beach. They come in three, and it's always the last one that's the best one. So this is kind of that same concept. Is like you're kind of catching that last big wave here. I mean, I don't profess to know Elliott wave a whole lot, but you have like a move up here. It kind of consolidated, another move up here, which was even better, consolidated, and then just wham. And on this consolidation, you had these stacked narrow CPRs. So this just had all the right ingredients, right? And the par, I mean, the 4 hour was just barely crossing the zero line. So you had a lot of room to move. Now, I didn't expect that kind of a move out of it. I mean, I would have, the last and final pivot was like right here, and it just like doubled that. I mean, that pretty insane move. All right, so that's X, AVAX, Cetus, Sue. Most of these have been longs. Here's one that I know that I did in the group. 2 days.
Can you zoom in?
Yeah. This is VIDT. You had 2 days of the daily within the weekly, right? So the more the daily is going to be inside the weekly, that's more coiling that spring is going to do. It's building up pressure, like with a narrow Bollinger Band. So in here, you also had a nice par setup. So now the bottom yellow is the 1 and 2 hour. So here was beautiful confluence. You had the 1 and 2 hour coming off the bottom. You had the 1530, kind of a hidden bull div here, right? My par caught this early, but it came through the 2 CPRs, it back tested, and then just boom, right? So, and that went through all the pivots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then it went even past it up to the monthly DeMark up here. It was a good TP. All right, so that was VIDT, 42% move after getting through there. And this was the latest one. I had mentioned that I missed it either in our group or with some friends, but this was ton, right? It's funny because we're on Telegram. But this also had a nice bounce off of the yearly pivot, and the daily and weekly were almost perfectly on top of each other. I mean, as soon as price goes through it, right, you can get in. Now, you could have got in here, right, and you got your stop below the pivot, you're fine. But let's take a look. Here, my par was kind of going down, right? And when the price opened, it opened above both of them. So typically that's, now you got a virgin daily and weekly CPR, it's like almost a laydown that it's going to come and get it again. All right, so it touched it here, and then it came down for a big sweep. And this was pre-market on in New York, right? And then it just took off after that. So that was the last one. And that's it. It's pretty much a shorter show today. Just wanted to show that. And I would say the takeaway from this should be just keep your eyes when you're scanning and you have your CPRs up. You can have our extreme pivots indicator that we have in our group. Have that up. Have the daily, the weekly. You could even do the monthly. If you're looking for swings, you might want to look at maybe the weekly inside the monthly. Right? You can kind of treat it the same way and not pay as much attention to the daily. So that's basically it. And this is oh, you know what, Mickey? I kept thinking today was Wednesday, and I was expecting a big move at 9 o'clock. But it's Monday. That only happens on Wednesdays, right?
Yeah.
So, any questions? You're who's here, so if you have a question.
Yeah, why?
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 Built up pressure, I guess. Especially when both the ranges are narrow, but yeah.
You want to talk a little bit about like your macro perspective on the market?
Yeah.
On the whole market.
Do you want to look at NAS 100,
yeah,
Bitcoin?
Let's do NAS 100.
All right. We're kind of... My bias right now is kind of a coin flip. That's my bias right now. Hold on.
Nasty 100.
Like that. Get a nasty little pullback here. All right, let me get the par up. Let me get on the 1 hour or something. Let me clean this up a little bit. Get all these pivots. I keep the weekly. Oh. Alright. Well, we had this kind of bull div on the 1-2 on the NASDAQ, and you already had your movement up into, this is the 1 hour 200. I always get them mixed up. The green is the 200. All right, the 50. Sorry. No, the red is 50. The green is 200.
No, it was
red. Here, look. Red 50.
Yeah, that's what I said.
200. Okay. So, basically, it doesn't matter. We now know it's red. The 50. Basically came up and tapped it. And... Let me go... Let me look at 4 hour, and I'm not even going to bother looking at lower time frame par. It's kind of meaningless as far as the macro. We have a... That is not a bull div on the 4 hour because it made a new low. So I think we got to make another divergence, and I don't know if it's going to just come straight down, because that would be a little bit too much, especially during Asia session. And we have that yearly pivot down there, right, Mickey?
Yep.
Do you have any? Have you charted NAS? Because
No.
I think this is going to be a big level. You got a couple weekly pivots here, and you have a yearly. So I'm going to do this and post it in the group too.
Let me see what I got going on NAS.
Go ahead and get nasty. All right, here we go. And let me know what you think of this. I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna act during Asia session, but
I think we're primed for a bounce.
something like that.
Yeah, I think we're primed for a bounce.
Yeah, but dip first.
Yeah,
I mean,
like right now, let me switch from Haikanashi into regular candles.
look at the 1 and 2 hour par. It just was like it went straight vertical.
Right now, we're in the golden pocket
Yeah.
on the daily. That is.
Okay. Okay.
Let me pull.
This is my. This is what if I was trading this is what I would be ready for. But I would also be ready. Okay, so it's 9 p.m. here. I'm up at 6 a.m., which is going to be around. Oh, oh, this is a couple days out. Sorry, this is the 4 hour. I may have
What's
to adjust
what's
this.
the yearly on?
The yearly is at 18,565, somewhere around there, like that.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so that yearly is right on my fixed range that I pulled on the lower the the low one. What's it called? The value area low. So
Okay.
I could see us going down there, maybe dipping a little bit low, but right now we're in the golden pocket
I'm gonna change this.
on the daily. That is. So if we're gonna be playing this range, I mean, now would be the good time for a pump if we're doing help like normal market structure.
Okay.
Um, Depending on world events, we got tariffs that are supposed to be starting. So down is definitely a possibility. And God, I don't even know where we could pull this from. There we go. We can pull it from here.
Maybe something like this.
So if we have a proper retraction,
Yeah.
or a retracement, I could see it going like my levels are pulling up 13 to 15,000. That's really low.
I'm just looking at the next few days.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not. I wouldn't disagree that we couldn't go down that low, but I'm also my thinking is that the tariffs were bad news that everybody's waiting for, and usually it's sell the news when it's good news, and so it might be buy the news when the news of the tariffs comes out, and it comes out on Wednesday, Mickey,
Let me see here.
or tomorrow. Yeah, Wednesday the 2nd.
It'll be yeah,
But
you're right.
Wednesday's gonna be I think it's gonna be a pivotal day, for sure. I think tomorrow is another good day to just, well, for me, do what I've been doing, just scalping. I don't see any swing plays right now. Either
Yeah.
way.
So on April
And I
2nd, 2025, the president said that he's quoting this as Liberation Day when he plans to unveil a significant
Right.
round of reciprocal tariff targeting imports from various countries. So I think it's going to be a decoupling from the global market. And if that's the case, I could see us like 15 to 13 to 15 sounds apocalyptic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
But let me bring up the 4 hour. I mean, we have a pretty decent low, like resistance level at 16, 800 to 17,200. So within that
When you're ready, I got something to show you on par.
$400 range. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So what I generally look at is This blue is a 4 or 5 hour ribbon. Well, almost 5 hour. 240, 280. I can put 300. It wouldn't change it at all. But this this move down into the abyss, that is not gonna get taken out until you have a big move up and you're ready for a proper short. Right? I'm not ready for a prop. I mean, you could probably scalp short it right now, right? Maybe. Um, but and price. This doesn't mean that price cannot go below this, and I actually would prefer it if I want a long. So if this happened, now I don't know exactly how it's going to bounce around, but if price comes down and hits the yearly, or even comes below it, right? Even comes below it a little bit more. What I see the par doing, right? Let me draw this. Again, I don't know exactly how it's going to kind of play out for the little bit here. Comes down. Now, what I would confidently, very confidently say that is that this 4-hour ribbon coming down here is not going to go below this. There's just no way. Right? Especially when it was at minus 47.51. I mean, that's almost unheard of. You can go back and look at how many times it was down there. It's probably going to be 2 within a year, right? And if you want, we can look. But change this to blue. So I know that that's not going to get taken out, but price can take out this low and make another low. But as soon as that turns, this is going to definitely, I would say 98% sure that this is going to set up a bull div, right? Because that's going to come down. Maybe it comes down here. I don't know exactly. This would be ideal, but maybe it falls short of that and then starts to turn up. So you got right here your bull div. Higher high, lower low on the price. So with that, Mickey, what levels would you say you have confluence?
I have
looking
confluence
at your value area low.
At your pivot. I'm looking at 1800 641.
Okay, that's right about here.
Yep.
Okay.
So lots of confluence there, and so that's the value area low. I could see us
say like 18625 area. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see us hitting in that area for sure. And testing that pivot, because that's just a value area low, so it could go lower than that. But that's
sure
the bottom of the range that I would play.
Right. And if it does,
we got a green dot and a bear div on the money minter on the 4-hour.
Okay.
It's a hidden.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that's what I think. I mean, I think that you're gonna have a short before you get a new low tested, and then that's where I think you can get like a nice swing. That's what. And I mean, this, I have it drawn happening on Thursday, but this could easily happen. I don't think it's going to happen tomorrow, not before the tariff news and everything. I think you can get a bottom like Wednesday afternoon, somewhere between Wednesday and Friday. Yeah.
Dude, the par's making a bull div on the 1014.40.
It can. Yeah. So actually, it's funny, you had a bull div here and we fell through it. But actually, you know what though? No. You had a bull div on the daily, but it already played out. You had a nice move up. Yeah, it played out. It went from 19,600 to 20,250. I mean, that's a good move. That's 600 points on the Nasdaq. You could have made thousands on contracts. Anyway, and then it bounced off of the yearly R1 and the quarterly pivot. So wow, that was like just dead on, huh? and then you had your short. Damn, I should have shorted. I bet the Market Smasher was a squeezer too. That was a good short spot. Anyway, so now it looks like we're coming down here, and if that's so, it's putting a beautiful range between the yearly pivot and the yearly R1. But yeah, you had a bull div before, it played out, and now you're right. It might be coming to make another one. Let's take a look. Here's the daily. Again, I don't know exactly how it's going to play out. Right now we're into Wednesday. Right, and if that starts to come up like that, let's do this. And there's your swing. There's your swing long for NASDAQ. If you want to get QQQ, TQQQ, calls, futures, I think you got a good play there. I think you got to wait between Wednesday and Friday. Hey, you want to do Bitcoin? Or do you have anything else to add?
We can hold off on Bitcoin. I mean,
all right. Yeah, I'm good. But with this dip, right? With this 4-hour dip, you're gonna get a little bit of what I call the divergence gap, where it's 4 hours coming away from the daily. And then as soon as that starts to turn, and if the daily is relatively flat, then you could get it in right here. Again, I'm just kind of winging it with the drawing, but this puts us at about Wednesday evening. Around Wednesday, close of market Wednesday, which would be kind of interestingly coinciding with after all the tariff news gets absorbed into the masses. So
what is QQQ?
That's basically the NASDAQ ETF. Yeah, we'll look. It's basically, it's the NASDAQ Trust. It's by Invesco is the name of that's the money manager in that. And it's a diversified exposure into the top NASDAQ companies.
Does it have parity with
It's got perfect parity with the NASDAQ, like perfect. It's, I mean, almost like it's not identical, but it's pretty much the same thing. Here, can you see my screen or no?
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Yeah, this is it right here. Go on Yahoo Finance. It's kind of like SPY is to the S&P. Right? The top 10 holdings: Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, Amazon, Broadcom, Meta, Facebook, Costco, Tesla, Netflix, Google. I mean, that's basically most of it. You have some healthcare stuff, technology, but it's basically going to just move about the same percentages as